Condo, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Condo, corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro Corner, where we make our name. Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner. Chondro Corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro Corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Chondro Corner. Tonight, we will be bringing on Dayton, who has honestly some of the most incredible Amazons I have seen so far in somebody's collection. But before we do that, we're just going to go over real quick. Don't forget, almost every single night, you can catch us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Mondays, Conjure Corner. Tuesdays, Retic Rundown. Tuesdays is also The Molt. Wednesdays, Grow House. Thursdays, Clutch Conversations. Saturday is Double Clutch. And Sunday is Morph Map. We're going to get to the comments real quick, and then we'll bring Dayton on. Hey, Mike, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Richard Kensinger, thank you for coming on. And Ballistic Morph says hi. Thanks, Richard. Snake Charmer, just saying good evening. I'll be catching the replay. Have a great show. Thank you, Snake Charmer, for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and hop over to Dayton because we have some amazing animals to talk about tonight, and I want to make sure we have the time to do it. Hey, Dayton.
Hi.
Thank you, first and foremost, so much for coming on. I know it's kind of an odd time of night and a week, so.
Thanks for having me. I usually have fun doing these, so.
Well, I look forward to learning from you tonight. I already perused all the pictures you sent over, and some spectacular animals for sure that I know many of us wish we had in our collections, honestly.
Thank you.
What got you into Amazons?
I actually just stumbled across them on the internet. And it was like a Halloween garden phase that I saw for sale somewhere, and it wasn't even like a real posting of the animal. It was like one of those generic, I don't know, big distributor or stores that they just post a generic photo of the animal and say, hey, Amazon tree boa. And I thought that was the craziest looking snake I'd ever seen. It's just, and I don't know, the more you get into it, you kind of think as gardens as basic or whatever, but that was my first experience with Amazon tree boas, and I thought that was the most insane looking animal I'd ever seen. So it's kind of cool.
I still think there's an appreciation for even the garden phases though, because you have super dark garden phases, and then you have some that have more purple tones to them and lighter tones. So
yes, for sure.
Do you see some of that as being genetics? So does it pass on if you tend to have a darker garden phase? Does it produce darker offspring, or is that still?
That's still a little up in the air, you know. I think there is a lot of selective breeding potential for Amazon tree boas, and they're so variable, and now there are so many different morphs and stuff like that I don't think a lot of people have spent multi generations selectively breeding for certain traits. So that is one of those things. You can remove a lot of like the dirty pigment from colored animals. So I don't see why you couldn't selectively breed for a darker animal.
We're gonna kind of hop a little bit back because I got
Yeah,
ahead of myself on that. I was just
that's okay.
so as far as with your Amazons, you started with your garden phase. When
Yeah.
did you decide you were going to add on to the collection or get into breeding? What kind of led to that?
So when I got into Amazons, that was sort of like my like re-entry into the hobby.
Mhm.
Growing up, I always had like a random assortment of animals, and a lot of them were reptiles. And I had, different species of snakes and stuff like that. And then in high school, I sort of sold off what animals I had and stayed out of it until I graduated from high school. And I thought I needed to get a hobby. So um, I figured, hey, this is something I'm still interested in, and I've always kind of been interested in, and so like I got back into it with the purpose of selecting a species to breed.
As far as keeping, do you keep in like racks? Do you kind of have a mix of racks and cubes, 3x2x2s? What is your general go-to for the species?
Yeah. So for like adults, I prefer like the cubed enclosures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do have different kinds of racks and things like that. I do keep all my babies in racks. I think that's like a very efficient, easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and I have kept and bred, adults in different kinds of racks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just more out of like convenience than like preference. I,
Um,
I, I like I like front opening cages.
yeah, for sure. Um, at what age do you typically breed your males and females?
So
Or
my
is it just like
females,
age and body structure kind of combo?
yeah. My females, it usually takes about 5 years before they're ready. And I can't like really say, like body weight or anything like that. I don't really weigh my animals. Um, I don't know at this point. I don't know how it got to be like that, but I just kind of go off of experience and like
Mm-hmm.
I can like see the animal. I'm like, oh yeah, that like if I feed her heavy for a few months or whatever, she'll be primed for breeding season or whatever. Um, but that's how I do it now. So
Um, and then as far as introductions, like I've had other people come on who introduce long before they ever start breeding and they almost cohabitate. And then I have others who just wait until they're ready to do the breeding. What do
mm.
you do? Like, what's your preference with that?
I keep all my animals separate, and I'll introduce them. Like a pair that I think might be interesting, or if I think the animals are getting ready, I'll introduce them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I don't, I kind of do it at any point in the year. I don't have a season.
Okay.
So whenever I want to, like uh, if I have a female that's getting of age and she's looking, you know, the right size, I'll spend a few months feeding her heavy before I make an introduction. And then that's how I do it. Then I make the introduction. If the couple is interested in each other, then it works out great. If not, I'll leave them in for a few days and then I'll separate them and maybe try reintroducing them in a few weeks or a month or whatever.
And then, do you do any temp cycling or food cycling for your females?
So it kind of ends up we're working that way with the food cycle. I that's becoming like a more known about thing, I guess now.
Mhm.
You know, and I didn't really know like it. I didn't initially intentionally like do that, but it kind of turns out that that's kind of what I do. And so now that I know it's a thing, I like, make sure like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kind of food cycle them. Um, as far as temps go, I do have a nighttime drop year round.
Mhm.
I heat my whole room, and I have it drop about 10 degrees at night every night, and that's just year round.
Fair enough. And then babies, once they're born, do you immediately pull them and set them up in their own bin, or do you pull them and set them up in a group bin until they shed? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. I usually keep them in one tub for a little while, like let them, I don't know, a few days. I don't leave them in there until they shed or anything. Um,
Okay.
I leave them in there for a few days, let them like rinse off all the stuff that's on them, and change out the bedding, and then I get them set up in individual tubs.
And then what is your favorite, I guess, genetics at this point with your Amazons? If you had a project, what's your favorite project?
Okay. Uh, I would say probably leopard.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
This one.
yeah.
The pictures are like super tiny on here on them.
I didn't. Yeah, so that's actually a combination.
So what
Um,
is that?
so that's a combination between two genes. That's a leopard and a tiger. Leopard is essentially recessive. It might be like incomplete dominant. So what that? Well, I guess I should maybe kind of explain what that means. Uh, like you need two copies of the gene for it to express in the animal. So the 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 animal that you are producing needs to carry two copies of the gene for it to be a leopard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is freaking incredible. That dorsal is insane.
Yeah, and the tiger gene is a dominant gene, so half of the offspring of your pairing will be a visual tiger. They only need to carry one copy of the gene. Like they only express the gene if they carry it.
Okay. So what this one is too. No, what is that? Oh, holy
So
shit.
that's a regular leopard without the tiger. And
Yeah,
you
but
can
there's
see,
different levels of leopard. I mean, I've seen some leopards that are not like as impressive. Like this is phenomenal.
yeah. So one of the things that I really like about the leopards that I've produced is like they're very high contrast, and so like they're very light gray and then like dark black spots or pattern. Um, I really like the contrast, and there are some leopards that are less contrasty than that. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Skip over. That's the same one.
that is a different liger. So leopard tiger, a
Yeah,
liger.
leopard
Yeah.
tiger. And then there's another one.
Yeah.
They all have that like contrast to another.
Yeah,
The whole
and
litter came out very contrasted, didn't it?
huh?
For the most part. That whole litter came out like with coloring like that, didn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure why that could be a selective breeding thing. So on top of me producing those genes that are inherited, um, by producing multiple generations, I might be selecting for animals that are higher contrast.
Because they all are very, like, they're very contrasted. They're gorgeous. What is this?
Okay, so this.
He's like, oh boy. So what I'm doing right now is while we're going through this, I'm picking out my shopping list for down the road. So if you ever post any, you're like available, I'm already gonna know, like, on my list.
Oh yeah. So this is a like a visual like Halloween, but it's a tiger. So you see the dorsal striping.
Yeah.
That's the dominant gene. Now this also came from a leopard litter, so it is 100% het for leopard. It's not a visual, but it does carry the gene. And it also came from a different gene that I've been working with that a buddy of mine and I actually had imported from Europe. So I'm not really sure how the het leopard and the other gene are
Influence this.
influencing it. Yes, yes.
Do you tend to see that the hets still play some influence in the way the animal presents?
It's seeming like that, or there's a good amount of evidence to suggest that some of the hets do present like different visual traits that are kind of like that are being associated with being carriers of the leopard gene.
That's another one from the same litter, right?
Yeah, and so that would be without the tiger gene. So that's like the same animal as the previous, but without the tiger gene.
I like that too. I don't know. I think I might have to add some more tiger to my gene pool here.
Yeah.
I already got some. I need some more, apparently.
They're all, I mean, it's such a cool species. And yeah, so this is so this is now presenting the phenotype of the animals that we had imported from Europe. And we're calling those marbles. So that is a visual marble, but it's also a tiger and it's also het for leopard. So that's a whole grab bag of genes there.
That is a freaking stunning animal, though.
I really didn't know. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, this was very kind of surprising to me, and I was beyond excited when I saw some of these animals being born. Like I really kind of didn't know what was going to happen pairing a liger to the original marble female.
Mm-hmm.
And based on some of our previous litters, I wasn't really expecting to get any visual marbles, but we did. So that was really cool.
It's freaking insane. I don't know which one I like. I like this one better, I think.
That one's got a little bit more. It's like a boulder pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what really drew me to the species, is because it literally is honestly like a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I like boulder pattern.
It's kind of like the opposite. This species is like the opposite of all like other species in well, not all other species, but a lot of them. Whereas like they have the specific phenotype that, you know, like that is a carpet python, or that is a ball python, right? Mm-hmm. And then like the more you produce, the more genes get like introduced into the gene pool, or they're already there, but they're being let out, right?
Yeah.
But with Amazons, it's like all of those are already out there in the wild type animal. You know, all the genes are already being expressed because, like, for whatever reason, there's no like negative side effects for being a red Amazon or a yellow Amazon. You know, That- they just do just as well out in the wild as the brown ones.
Same. So
So
handful of
that's
babies.
yeah, that's the whole litter, and that's the litter of the animals you've just been showing. So that was from the liger cross to the marble. And
Is that a stillborn?
yeah, that's like a funky underdeveloped baby, not from the same litter. Um, I was
When
looking
did
through my
it
phone.
like stop developing? It stopped developing early on, didn't it? It looks like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and like every once in a while you get the one. So like pigment is one of the later things to like develop. And so like you'll get some that are born not fully developed, and they won't, like, they'll be lacking a lot of pigment, but they just look cool and funky.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah. And
Fresh little baby.
that's one of the marble tigers being born, like right in its like amniotic sac.
Yeah, you snatched that bad boy up real quick. It's like, I'm taking a picture of this.
I'm definitely I probably, like, if my snakes had, like, a bunch of feelings, they'd definitely be annoyed at me. I'm like I'm a little bit of a creeper. Um,
I think we all are, though, honestly. I mean, if it's not live birth and it's eggs, our faces are like plastered against the incubator
right.
every morning, looking in.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm sure
catch
you
it.
were woohooing and happy dancing across the damn snake room too when you saw this.
Yeah, this was actually really cool. I ended up being like, I was getting ready for work, and it was like later in the morning. It wasn't like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like at 7 or 8 in the morning, and I was getting ready for work, and I was like, oops, sorry, we're live.
Oh, you're
It's gonna
fine.
happen
You're
right
good.
now. Okay, and so I called in late. I'm like, I'm gonna be late, and I had to take I was getting ready to take my daughter to school too, so she was here with me, and she got to go to school late, and we watched them have the babies, and she was helping me out with it all, and so it was pretty neat.
Now, how old's your daughter?
She's 7. She's gonna be 8 in October.
Oh, so she's at an age where she is totally enthralled by that, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Little. Uh, it's probably because she like she's seen my snakes give birth like several times, and she's been involved in it, and she gets to like hold the fresh babies, but like she is excited about like producing, like, when what would you call it, like breeding animals, I guess.
Yeah.
And she was like, the other day she was like watching videos on YouTube of goats giving birth to babies.
You're gonna end up
And
with a whole farm.
yeah. You can like hear the goats scream as they're giving the babies too, like making weird goat noises. Like, what are you watching? Like, what the heck?
You just got to get her fainting goats.
Fainting goats? Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So you can watch them all fall out for your own personal entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cute, though. That's awesome that she likes doing this stuff with you.
Yeah.
What is this?
So this is like pretty much in the picture. It's not quite an adult, but it's an adult female tiger that is het for leopard.
And that's yellow. That's like come up on her. That's cool looking.
She is actually gravid right now.
Yeah, would you pair her to?
So I paired her to a liger.
Okay.
So I'll get leopards, ligers, tiger het leopards, and maybe some normals.
All right. And when is she expected to give birth? You see where I'm going here, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who's watching, I call first dibs. You don't get to jump on it. No.
So with this one, oh, okay.
Oh no, we can go back. Go ahead.
All right.
We're back.
With this one, you can kind of like see how being het for leopard is also kind of like, obviously this is a very bright colored snake.
But it almost breaks up the stripes.
Yeah, it breaks up the stripes kind of funky, and so like just carrying the gene is also kind of like a desirable thing. People really like it. I like it. You know, it's kind of makes neat looking tigers.
Yeah, yeah, it breaks up the stripes a lot. All right, now we'll skip over to this one. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is a copulation picture. They're you know, breeding right now. And that's a liger male and the original marble female.
Holy cow, look at her. Her dorsal is still insane looking. She is really cool.
Yeah. So when I paired these up, I thought I might get a bunch of normals with very funky pattern because they'd either be, well, they'd all be het for leopard, and so they'd have that. But I thought maybe they would get some of the funky pattern from the marble as well, because
Yeah.
From some of the previous litters we've had, we haven't made a lot of marbles, but the animals that were born in the litters, they have like very extreme patterns. And so I was expecting maybe some funky patterns, but mostly normals. And so I was very surprised when we got some. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's talk about this bad boy.
All right.
What are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is a Leucistic Amazon tree boa. There aren't a whole lot of them around, and I've the gene's been around for a while, and like there hasn't been a whole lot of success with it, or I don't. Maybe I shouldn't say that because the founder of the lineage produced multiple litters with multiple Lucies. And you know, like I know some people who got animals from that person, and they had multiple leucistic animals. But through whatever circumstances, like the gene has not been like propagated enough. And so I'm very happy that I got a couple of them in 2023. So they're both doing good. They're both behind me. They're both males. So that's kind of cool. That's going to work out good for me, hopefully. But they're both alive and they're doing well. And I'm planning on pairing them up this coming year. So
is that the other one?
I don't know if I probably sent you pictures of both of them. They look very similar. They're very patternless, and it's like it's also possible that one of them is maybe a tiger as well, but it's just like super clean patterned. I can't really tell. The genetics are there to make a leucistic tiger, and I didn't. As far as I know, I didn't. So I've repeated the pairing, and that female is gravid again. So I'm hoping that maybe I can get like a definite visual leucistic tiger this time. I think there's only one of them, and I don't have it, so I want one.
And they hold this coloring like no matter the age, or do they tend to yellow out?
Yeah, so they do go through a bit of a color change, and you can kind of see like I probably sent you some pictures when they were first born, and they're kind of pink looking. maybe like it's like a full litter picture. I probably sent you. Yeah, there you go. So that's like fresh born before I separated them. You know, they haven't shed yet.
Holy cow, they're ugly as hell as new babies.
You know, they kind of look like a worm, maybe, you know, or
They
something.
do. They're ugly as hell as new babies.
But yeah, I don't know. It's all cool to me. But they have gotten a bit more yellow, and it's kind of actually worked out nicely because you can see little bits of pattern in there now.
Yeah.
So if you have like a blank white snake, you know, if you try to add anything to it, you don't really get anything. You see that? I mean, there are several leucistic genes with ball pythons, and
And
some
just a
of
blank white snake.
some of them completely wipe it out, but some of them they leave like remnants of things, right? Like you can
Yeah.
see, I don't know, striping or whatever.
Sometimes, or it's like they have like a different, the head is slightly off colored, like you can very faintly see like a grayed out head or something like that. It's other times they're just sodium white. You might have you could have a gazillion genes in it and it's still freaking white.
Right. So if it's just a white snake and it covers everything up or it erases everything, then you're kind of like that's a dead end, you know. Not that it's not cool to make them, but you can't really add anything to it.
No, you end up with a really overpriced white snake.
Yeah. And so like I'm kind of happy, even though compared to the other ones that are produced, the other leucistics that have been produced, they have a bit more pattern than the ones that I do. These ones actually come from like very clean hypo parents, so that's like the single gene animals.
Yeah.
And they've been multi-generation selective bred for very, very clean patternless yellow animals. And so like as a result, I got very clean leucistic animals. And it's kind of like I said, I'm not sure, one might be a tiger, but I can't tell. And so that's a little bit of a problem. But I am glad that you still get some of that, some color, some pattern, because then I can add things to it, you know.
No, they're really cool. They age really well.
Yeah.
So I just had to bite the bullet and get a worm-looking baby snake.
Yeah.
They are cool though. They're super cool. And you don't see a lot of people who are working this project. Granted, I think there's a lot of it's untapped potential still with the Amazons, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount of genes being worked with now, on top of like the colors and patterns that are already existing, which I think, if you dig a little deeper, like you can find out how those are inherited as well. You know, it's not magic. It's just it's all mixed up in the gene pool already, so you kind of have to like reverse it. You have to take the genes out instead of like add genes together.
Yeah. What is this?
Okay, so this is a weird one. It looks like a visual hypo, but it has.
It's got like banding on it.
Yeah, it's got weird patches of white. I have seen like I have seen some of the leucistics that are produced with like weird yellow spots like splotches on them, kind of like the white on this one. But that would be like, I don't think it's a leucistic, you know, with like a ton of yellow on it. That would be, it's kind of like the opposite. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with it. Just a cool looking animal. Yeah. This one's actually owned by Jacob Brooks.
That's a cool looking animal.
Yeah. And this is the sire of my leucistic animals. And you can kind of see some like faint, like ghosty looking pattern on him, and that's pretty common with my adult hypos. Like they
Mhm.
start off as like a yellow animal, but you can see as they mature, like very faint white pattern on them.
His eyes almost look like almost like a matte color too.
Yeah, they've got very light green eyes. So and then like the leucistics have blue eyes. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's, but I don't like their eye color is different than other like yellow animals that you see.
Red tiger. Is there calico in there too?
Yeah, it's it's possible. This one's a little bit. It's got those patchy, like what not symmetrical, you know,
Yeah.
pattern on it. So when like something like that comes up, people kind of call it like a paradox, but or a chimera.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't really know how it'll like reproduce.
Hmm.
If it's two different animal, if it's a chimera and it's two different animals, it could reproduce as like a het calico, or it could reproduce as like a visual calico. Um, Not entirely sure.
And that's male or female?
That's the female. And that's the original marble female.
Holy cow. The freaking dorsal on that thing is insane. I love that dorsal.
They also like they start out a bit more red than
Yeah.
that. Like she's an old female, um, and there's a little bit of sort of like with a lot of like the that they'll become like a very darker color as they mature.
It's a leopard.
And that's a regular adult female leopard.
Even she's pretty though. Holy cow.
That's like one of my I don't know. I really like that one out of my collection. Like it's one of my favorites probably.
It's busy, but it's still got a lot of contrast to it. It's pretty. Do you
Yeah.
notice
So
like
this
your
one,
females go through
oh,
a hormonal like color shift at all? Like a hormonal color change?
yeah, 100%. I don't know that I don't know that I have them that don't like. I think they all do when they're gravid. They get very dark. Um, most of them like bounce back after they have their like post lay shed.
Mm-hmm.
But like the older the animals, they typically like they stay darker. You know, regardless of the color. Like they end up being darker as they are older.
And then what is this one?
That is a liger. So that's actually like the first liger that I produced. Um, and I wasn't like I was I was pretty sure it was a liger, but I wasn't like 100% until like he's actually like proved out um, multiple times. But just the way that like you can still see the pattern in the stripe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are leopards that have like very solid pattern along their back that aren't tigers. And so like there was a little bit of a question in my mind, like, is that a
Is it or
liger?
is it not?
Yeah, yeah. You always get that, even even when you kind of like nail it down to like what you can predict how like how the offspring should turn out or what genes are involved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's always some like thing that kind of throws you and like what is that, or could that
Well,
be
there's like
something
almost
else?
no pattern on the sides, really. Like
Yeah.
there is, it's not at the same time, you know. That's cool looking. I love these. These are awesome. Patternless.
And so this one is a Hypo Tiger.
Is it really?
Yeah. So this is it's a tiger and it's carrying the leucistic gene, or expressing. I guess there's some debate on that. So there's some debate on how the leucistic gene is inherited.
Okay.
Whether it's a like incomplete dominant gene where the hypo is a visual, you can tell like this is a hypo, or if it's recessive. And there really kind of are only two people working with a decent number of these right now, and that's me and Rory. And like we got like the complete opposite end of the spectrum here. His hypos are very like patterned, and they've got all kinds of patterning on them, and mine are very clean. I'm not talking shit. I'm not talking shit. I'm just
No, yours
you can pick your preference.
So why do you think that is, that like some are extremely busy and patterned and some are literally a blank slate?
Yeah. So I think a little bit, not that they're all from the same line, right? But essentially, like his animals have been like, or my animals, they've been separate in our collections for a while now. And I had kind of mentioned that I have, just as a consequence of like trying to reproduce leucistic animals, I've been selectively breeding my animals. And that like I have been for generations now picking out the most hypo looking animals and pairing them back with each other to produce leucistics, right? And so like as a result of that, I'm sure there is some selective breeding there for patternless animals. And his animals actually come from, I mean, they all come from the same place, but his come from a particular person who didn't know that he had hypo animals. They were sold to him as normals from the originator of the gene, and he produced several leucistics in a litter by pairing them up. And these leucistics already had like a decent amount of black pattern on them, like when they were born. And so like they are, I mean, like I'm sure he's probably now paired them to different things that are more patternless or whatever. But his original animal or founder of this gene in his collection started out as a heavier patterned leucistic animal. Okay. And so his animals, just as a result of that, I think are heavier patterned. So he doesn't see his animals. He doesn't say, "Hey, I can pick out what's hypo and what's not hypo." Mm-hmm. Whereas I think I can. Now, I don't know how you solve this. Like who's right or who's wrong, you know? But like I have kept multiple generations and multiple holdbacks as hypos, and all of the hypos that I've kept have proven out to be hypo. Like they're carrying the leucistic gene. If you produce offspring with two copies, you get a leucistic. And I also have like photos of the litter where if you look at the litter, it's subtle, but there are differences between the animals that I select for my holdbacks as hypos and the normals. Even really nice patternless normals or clean normals, there's like a different, like kind of translucent look to the hypos, and so I think they are incomplete, and there is a visual. I don't really know how to explain like the discrepancy, you know, but if I think maybe with because Amazon's they have all these genes already in their gene pool. I think certain genes might be able to hide or cover up other genes, and so without knowing what's at play or everything at play, I think it's possible that maybe some of the genes that are already in his animals are covering up the hypo gene, making it harder to distinguish. And like we've talked about with some of the other litters, even with like fully known heritable traits, there are like variables that make it difficult to like discern what's what. Um, and like if I take another species for example, you know, ball pythons. Everybody knows ball pythons. When you see like a ball python that has 5 genes in it, you're like, what the? How do you even fucking pick that? You know, like what
Yeah.
is that?
Well, sometimes it almost dilutes it. You put too many in and it
Right.
wipes it clean.
Exactly. Or you know, like you have all these different multiple gene combination ball pythons, and they all kind of make like a pale looking hypo snake. You know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know a ton about ball pythons, but I'd imagine the similar thing because there are a ton of genes in Amazon tree boas. Um, it can kind of cover things or hide markers, but I'm pretty sure that there are visual markers to distinguish a hypo from a normal. So that's just my opinion.
We got a couple more litter picks. Holy cow, what is that dark one in the middle? So
Yeah.
that's a liger?
Yeah. So this was like a liger litter. These I actually don't know if I got any normal leopards in this. This was a tiger het leopard to a tiger het leopard. So I got ligers and tiger het leopards. There
Yeah, that
might
one
have
in the middle is
been a
pretty.
normal or two in there as well, or like a het leopard, possible het leopard actually. Sorry.
That's so pretty.
Yeah, this is a real cool one. The stripes kind of broken up, but the patterns are very, or the sides are very clean.
Yeah. And then we
And
have
then a lot, some of the other ones, that's actually from a different litter than some of the other ligers.
yeah.
And some of the other ligers, you see like the solid black stripe on their back, which is cool. That looks cool too. But I thought this one looked really cool because it's not solid. It's actually like 2 stripes and it's broken up. Yeah.
Is that all from the same litter?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, holy shit.
I hope
that is freaking cool though.
I hope to in 2 generations have a litter that will present like that. Like I could produce all those in the same litter.
That would be freaking
And also you would also be able to get a combination of the Lucy and the leopard, or the Lucy and the liger, theoretically. So that's what I'm going to be doing with my male Lucys. I'm going to be making you know, like some double hets, or tiger double hets. So
kind of skipping around here. A whole bunch of reds.
Yeah. I'm not sure that specific litter what the details are. I was just looking through my phone, trying to send you cool pictures.
Variety of things.
Yeah. So I actually think this is a hypo litter, and this is one of the ones I'm struggling to see it on my phone, and I don't know how big people's screens are, but you can actually see like a normal, really, really clean bicolor right here.
Yeah,
And
down
then
at the bottom.
yeah, and then you've got these. I'm pointing. I'm sorry. I'm getting in my
You're
camera.
fine, by all
Okay.
means.
And then up at the top, you can see like a pale or yellow animal, and those are hypos.
You can kind of see like just a slight difference even in the picture. It's very slight, but you can still see.
So like it's when
Charlie from shedtesting.com. You need to start doing some genetics tests for Amazons now.
yeah. Yeah, they're
That would help everybody.
yeah.
What else we got? More contrast. Now, what is that? The orange and yellow. What all is there? Bicolor, or is it? Yeah, is it bicolor?
Yeah, it's also a tiger,
Tiger?
and it's also so it's a sibling to that liger.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's a tiger. It's bicolor. It's het leopard.
That's funky looking.
Yeah, that animal actually like really darkened up. So it's like a burnt orange with like a very like dark stripe. And then there's also a calico tiger in there. This is one of my older calico tigers.
They're all so pretty. We have such a cool collection. And we'll wrap up with this one.
So this is the dam of the Lucy's. So this is the mother. This is a hypo tiger. Proven hypo tiger.
She's really pretty. All right, before we wrap up, is there any advice that you would like people to know coming into the hobby with Amazons?
I don't know. I'm like
bad, ugly, life lessons.
I'm like, so I've kept and bred and raised them in like all kinds of different cages, and different houses and rooms and environments and stuff like that. And so like I'm very big on like, yes, you can have like an ideal to shoot for, like, hey, I really like the way that person does their thing, but you really have to find what works for you. And I'm guilty of doing this in my earlier times. It's just like anytime I saw something that I like, I would try to implement it, and I'd put it in all my cages. I'd buy a ton of them or whatever, I'd get all my animals set up that way. And then, like I would discover my own problems with it, and like, oh, this is why this kind of sucks, even though I like the way it looks or whatever. But by doing that, by constantly changing or like adjusting things, like it fucks with your animals and it stresses them out. And so like find what works for you and just stick with it and do that thing. And there's like no one way to do it right. Like just because I do it one way doesn't mean you won't be successful doing it a different way.
All right. I am going to throw you backstage real quick and wrap this up, and then I'll come back and
join you. All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All right, everyone. That wraps up another episode of Chondro Corner. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are catching the replay, don't forget to hashtag replay gang. And other than that, we will see you guys next week.
Chondro, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro, corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
From the shadow out as we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro Corner, where we make our name. Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner. Chondro Corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro